I'd like to say is thank you, Adam, for being the first victim into this. I'm going to start
No
interviewing,
problem.
as people say, I'm going to start interviewing random YouTubers. I've already got a list of people who want to do it. But for anybody, Adam, tell them who you are and what you do.
I'm currently North Devon's third biggest motovlogger, just behind C9 Adventures and Nathan Millwood, but I don't even count them as motovloggers, to be honest. If you have to travel to another country to make a vlog, then you're not a very good motovlogger, in my humble opinion. I just ride around on a old rusty Suzuki Bandit, just observing things and having mini adventures and having a laugh.
I think the
That's
rate
what I
my
do.
bike's going at the minute, mine's a bit rusty too. What were you going to say?
Well, that's all I do, really. So, yeah.
So for anybody that doesn't know Adam, I've been following you now for 2-3 years.
Yeah,
I think it has been a long time. We have never met. Never actually been in. We've always sort of aimed for to be in the same place at the same time, but we've never actually got there due to everything and anything. But what made you come across the motovlogging? What made you actually start doing what you do?
So, okay, so I got a motorcycle because I always wanted one, and then it was probably about a month before my 30th birthday, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to crack this down. I'm gonna have to do it. So, booked my CBT, started riding. It was also because I moved like 4 miles away from where I worked. I used to walk to work. When I moved, obviously, couldn't. It's only a mile. But I moved too fast. So I got a bike, and then every person I've spoken to who's got into motovlogging has always started with the big Americans, like years ago. So like I can't even think of any of them now. Like Motonicity, Do It with Dan, World Terrific.
All
And
those
then they
nearly
find
world TV show grade ones now.
Yeah. And then they find like Spicy 110. And then from Spicy they find people like us.
Yeah.
So I started doing that. And then I thought I can do that. It's easy, isn't it? And it wasn't so easy, but yeah, it's good fun.
I think I first started. What actually got me into it was I was actually watching YouTube at the time, and I was into motorbikes. So you were googling constantly different motorbikes, and a fella and girl from London turned up, non-angry biker and pickle poo, and he was actually using his phone inside his helmet.
Yeah.
So you could get that, you could see that it was two different things, and I started talking to them, and it was like usings are close, and I think I was talking to them for about 6 months, and then randomly went to England to meet them, and it was like,
Yeah.
I didn't have no following. I was only starting out with the roughest version of a drift ghost that was out there at the time, and it was like, so it's a bit like the Facebook thing. Once you add one person, it snowballs, and you start following, and then everybody, and then it just gets messy after that. I think for yourself, I think your content specifically for me would be where you live.
Yeah.
And your sense of humor as well. Your sense of humor at times, you sort of go, is he being serious? And then you sort of you catch something in there that's like, no, that's not serious. That's it. And
I said this to my friends. I said this to my friends today, actually, because in my latest video, I said I'm mildly retarded, and I was saying to my friend earlier, I was like, I hope they know I'm joking about that. And I said, I'm sure some people watched that and thought that explains quite a lot.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not mildly retarded. Just put it in.
I think sometimes you have to be, especially in what we do. You have to. I mean, like 99% of my content is riding to work or riding home.
Yeah.
And half the time I'm stuck in traffic, and you have to make it funny, or you have to even just put, you have to maybe go and pick on one of the big Americans, or you have to pick on, like I have just put out today, the new video, and sort of throw back at Spicy and go, I have this opinion. I honestly think the whole video response thing is a bit lost. I mean, at one point, everybody was firing video responses indirectly and directly and stuff like that there, and the next minute it just died off. So it did. But it's one of those things that, you're ever changing. What made you go for the Bandit? After you obviously you progressed and you were shopping for bikes. So what made you go, that's something that...
The honest answer is it was the only thing I could swap my current bike with, because I bought a ZX6R as my first big bike.
Oh yeah, the seat and everything was ripped on it.
Yeah, because I always wanted one, and then I got it, and I realised it's not quite for me. So I was looking. I put it up for sale, and someone said, "I've got a Bandit if you want to swap." Yeah. I said, "I'll come have a look." So I had a look, and it was quite rough. It was like a skinhead, tattoos on his head, big like bodybuilder. And I said, "Should we go into this pub just to sign all the paperwork?" He goes, "I don't know. I'm a bit scared of going into a pub. I don't know anyone." I said, "It's fine." And like, he was really scared and intimidated, this massive bodybuilder guy. So let's just go in. And yeah, then I didn't even give him much thought. I just swapped it over. But as soon as I got on the Bandit and rode home, I was loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you, now looking back, after buying the Bandit, looking back, was there a bike that maybe you would have targeted, not like the Zeds and stuff like that, they're the sports bikes, but if now that you've had the experience on the Bandit, do you think now, has that opened up your sort of scope for other bikes?
Yeah, definitely. But all the other bikes are out of my budget.
Oh yes.
All the other bikes I like. Yeah, I do like the retro style modern bikes you get. Yeah.
I think especially with the Bandits, they're so cheap to run.
Yeah.
There's so, I mean, my cousin had two. He had two 600s and two 1200s, and I idolized those two bikes myself. And my plan when I passed my test was to get a nice big 600 Bandit, and then they went and ruined it by making it fuel injected. And I was like, I don't want that now. And then all the older ones, especially in Northern Ireland, get held by their owners and chopped into a billion pieces, and
yeah, they always get chopped up,
reorganized, as I call it. And it's some of them aren't nice. I mean, some of the examples I've seen, you sort of go, do you actually think that's a nice bike? Because it's like, no.
The only good examples I've seen has cost them thousands of pounds to do, and they might as well have just bought a nicer bike.
Everything's custom on it, and replacing it isn't easy.
Yeah. No. I want to keep mine as stock.
Yeah. As I know you commented on that recent video that I put out about doing your direct access and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that a plan that's coming up in the future, or definitely
me doing my direct access?
Yeah.
What do you mean? That's a full license, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got a full license.
Oh, have you? I thought you were.
Yeah.
I actually thought you were A2. That weird sort of category that it's just under a weird license.
I'm unrestricted to get whatever I like. Yeah.
I'm totally foreign to that side, because just before that got brought in here, I sort of run and did everything and got it done and dusted. If there was,
No,
go ahead.
But I am going out. I am riding with a advanced motorcyclist instructor.
Yeah.
Possibly this weekend coming up to do some training, but I'm not going to get a certificate from it because it's just a one-on-one. He used to train the police in how to ride motorcycles. It's just a one-on-one thing, and if I enjoy it, I might then do my official advanced training,
something
get all the certificates and
to build on the experience, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because I know I don't know if it's the same in England, but over here you have to do your advanced riding IAMS course to be able to be a blood biker.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
I want to do that, but I don't want to do the test, or not the test, the IAMS, because there's a very, as you probably know yourself, there's a bit of a stigma that hangs around with IAMS riders, especially, they're high vis, white helmet, they look like the police half the time. And is that, you, as you say, you're going to go for your full, if it's something that you like, are you going to go for it?
Yeah, if I enjoy the day, I'll go for it. And I have thought about doing the blood bike work, but
yeah.
So at the moment, I don't really want to do it because I work a lot.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of young kids and stuff. But maybe one day I'd like to teach this CBTs to new riders. Maybe one day. I don't actually think there's a lot of money in that either. Some people think that's 125 quid in England just for a ride out, but I think there's a bit more to it when you count insurance and
I was thinking that myself, because it would be technically business insurance and stuff, would it not? And then I know for here, I think you have to do the blue light training, which isn't cheap, and I mean trying to find the places to do it is a bit hard.
Yeah, it won't be a full-time job. It'll be, if you do it, I think it has to be a job on top of what you already do for a living.
Yeah,
so it could be fun.
It's just an extra ability just to go fast somewhere.
Yeah.
So I know you had recently planned your trip. You were going to do the north to south or south to north. But obviously COVID shut that down and made a good hash of it. Do you think you are going to do something like that, or are you still trying to work out?
The plan is, and I don't know if it's definitely, I don't like saying anything's definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
But the plan is for next year now, for myself and a couple other people, to ride from Land's End to John O'Groat, but by Wales, Ireland, Northern Ireland, and across.
I would almost join you at the bottom. I'm completely itching at the minute just to do a big ride, and it's just not happening at the minute. I mean, we're technically, if we travel to England and Scotland, we're technically meant to stay in the house for whatever 10 days, and it's like, but you're allowed to go on the boat. And just recently, Stena, the company that is literally 5 minutes down the road, have released their biker day out, and it's £50 for you and a pillion to go to Scotland for the day, and you leave in the morning and you come back that night.
That sounds good.
For me, that's a signal. That's a signal of we're doing this, because every year when they ran it before, it was £20, £25. So literally they could fill one of those ferries, all decks, with bikes. And what they would tend to do is half and half. They would do a deck of cars and a deck of bikes. But now that they've hiked the price up, I think people are a lot more, I'm not paying that. I was like, but it's still going to be twice as busy because everybody wants off the island sort of thing. So I think they've organised, it's not like an official route. So it's like 187 mile, and you get a bit of paper that tells you what it is. And you do it yourself. You can do it in 4 hours, and then you come back. But for me, and especially the other half, we just want to go to England to go to the BSB. As last year we went and we got there, the BSB was on, but it was no spectators, and we're all just sitting in the hotel room listening to these bikes going around, and you're just like, I'm not happy with this.
No, that's annoying. Yeah, I could have just stayed at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. But I might be going to Scotland twice next year, actually. Come to think of it, we've booked a family holiday, and and my missus said that I can hire a motorbike when I get up to Scotland. And so I said, I can just go away for a day.
Yeah.
And she said, no, can't go away for a day. What's the point of going on holiday if I'm going to leave them? But it's like you ride alone quite a lot, don't you?
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something quite peaceful about just going out, just being alone. And I look at it like I'm going to be in northern Scotland on a motorbike. I just want to do it and just want to be
Yeah.
by myself for a little bit.
I would agree. It is. There is some sort of solidarity in it. Where you're on your own. You're just you are the plan. You're going to this destination or there. But what I find is, like Scotland for me, I haven't done the NC 500, but I was hoping to do it this year when everything relaxed. And what I found myself doing is actually picking out the quietest places ever, and just fast tracking the busy part and going straight to the empty part. And everybody's like, "Well, why are you doing that?" It's like, because I want to be on my own, and I want to do some wild camping as well. Just park up at the side of the road, throw. I have a sleeping bag with a bivy bag, and I just want to caterpillar beside the bike for a night.
Yeah.
That's my ideal weekend. And then that evolved to Barra Island, which when I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's great. That's like 65 people on the island. That's all year. And then I realized it's like a 4-hour boat journey to get to that. And I've seen videos of the boat, and when the weather's bad, the boat just does this all the way. And it's just like, no, can't do it.
No, not nice for 4 hours. No. No, I googled the other day where is the most remote place in the UK, and I think they said it's somewhere in Wales, and I was half tempted to go, and just so I can be in the most remote place around. I could still do it one day.
Wales, I'd say Wales is a great place. Having been there and done the sort of, you're out in the remotest sort of Snowdonia Valley area. The only problem is you have to watch out for the RAF and the American fighter pilots, because I near came off. I'm going in a straight line, 80, 90 mile an hour down the road, and I got buzzed by a F-15. I think it's F-15 Strike Eagle, and he was only, I wouldn't say he's 100 foot off the floor, and I never seen him coming. I never heard him until he was in front of me. And when you hear that, that crack of the jet going past, the handlebars just started going like this. I was like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Got control of the bike again, and I was like, oh, that was great. That was exciting. And I just sort of happened to look in my wing mirror, and I seen this line, and I was like, that's not on my. I actually rubbed the mirror, thinking, no, that's it. Like, oh, here comes another one. And I actually sort of hunkered down and prepared myself. And the wee woman in the B&B was like, oh, you're not used to that? And I was like, no. I mean, where else does this happen? Bar Wales, and I think it's the Lake District as well. It's the same. It's like the RAS playground. And it was like, I think it was the next day, I actually travelled out, found a reservoir, and I was just sitting there watching them like dog fighting over the reservoir. And it was like,
that sounds awesome.
I'm coming here more often. And I actually found showing my girlfriend videos of it on like the TikTok and YouTube. Now she wants to go.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, come on. But then obviously with the fines and stuff, I would get a €200 fine for crossing down into the south of Ireland, and then I get a fine when I get into Wales. So by the time I get there, the visa's probably already full. It's, and I think a couple of friends sort of, they don't listen to the rules, and they had been down south a few times, and they just went, I just told them I was going to work.
Yeah.
I was like, you don't have a job? And he's like, they don't know that. And I was like,
I don't know. I don't know what the rules are here, because I was talking to a friend earlier, and he was riding to Wales today. So I don't know if you can do it from here, but I'm not sure.
I think it has opened.
Yeah, I don't know. But where I work, you know, some people don't know that I work in a military base. I'm a chef, like civilian chef there. It used to be an RAF base, so we've still got the runway. And the Red Arrows used to train there like years ago. So every now and then, when a jet does fly past, it flies low.
Yeah.
And it just does a little like
like a
wingdip
dip.
at us. Yeah.
Hey.
So I could be, yeah. So I could be like nicely chilling out, relaxing, like at work because I have quite a bit of free time work.
Yeah.
Um, and then suddenly, yeah, just the jet would just fly by. So I know what you mean.
Yeah.
You don't get used to it. It scares the crap out of you every single time it happens.
I think I did the Army Cadets for years, and we used to go to a place up near Londonderry, sort of the coastal area, and it was an army base itself, but it had runways that suited was it the Globetrotter, the big
Yeah.
massive cargo carrier, and the cadets used to use it as like an ambush. You go out and go into a fake ambush and stuff, and we were lying in wait, and we were lying just on the lip of the bottom of the runway, and we could see more cadets coming down towards us. So we were getting ready, and the next minute, all these lights came on, sirens were going off, and we are like, "Uh-oh, what have I done? What have I done?" What had actually happened was an Aer Lingus flight had mistaken that runway for a runway that was 30 miles away, and was landing in the base. So there's us landing in the middle of an army base with an Aer Lingus jet coming down. We're just like, but of course, a camp that's semi-deserted most of the time. Thousands. There's just like, where did all these people come from? All these armed men just turned up, and it was like, okay. And even the train went past, and you could see people looking out, going, what's going on over there, sort of thing. And I was like, some of the experiences that I've had with that sort of stuff, they're really surreal. And with being from Northern Ireland, you can't talk about that thing openly, especially in like schools and stuff, because you got the divide and the problems and stuff. And I was doing all these cool things and going to Germany and driving tanks about the place, and I couldn't tell nobody when I get home. I'm sitting here like, I've got all these videos. I can't show anybody these. But I think that's how we sort of knew about motorbikes and stuff when we were in the cadets, was because there used to be a couple of the guards. They used to have, I think one had a Hayabusa. We understand now why he had it, and the other guy had like a ZX10 or a ZX12, and they used to every morning just cane it down the taxiway and then drag race each other up the main runway to the guard room. And you're like, really? You just live like, if they had went like turned to left and went right, they were 2 minutes from their house up at their work, and it was like, I want to do that. And I think you had mentioned one time before about a video that you were going to do.
Yeah,
you're going to race something like that.
I asked if I could race the ZX6R down the runway, and they told me only if I had a car in front of me, like escorting me basically. And I said, "Can you get a car that's fast enough and that can accelerate fast enough?" And we couldn't. We found it difficult to find one.
Yeah.
And I've been on that runway since, and I wouldn't want to ride fast on that runway. It hasn't been used in in years. It's all overgrown.
I think what they did with the one that we used to go down to was they actually put bollards halfway every sort of quarter mile. They put like just these massive bollards, but they didn't tell anybody. No. Which I don't think worked in their favor a couple of times, because a couple of guys had rode off cars. Because we're going down at like 2 a.m, racing up the runway thinking there was nothing there, and then smashing into a bollard, going, where'd that come from, sort of thing. But it's really interesting when especially if I go to England, the attitude of English drivers and riders there, it's really sort of, we know we can see you. Where over here it's get out of my way. And I know living there, you would probably say different, would you?
I can't compare it to Northern Ireland or anything, because I've never been to Northern Ireland. But no, because I live in Devon. Everyone's really chilled out in Devon. If they see me behind them and there's traffic, sometimes they will move out of the way for me. But you do, like everywhere, you get people who intentionally stop you from overtaking them.
Yeah.
So the other morning, someone wasn't looking, pulled out right in front of me, then instantly brake checked me, even though they pulled out in front of me. So I backed off, and I could see them starting to move along the road like that because they didn't want me to overtake. And I would rather be behind an idiot driver than in front of an idiot driver. So I wasn't in a hurry. So I kept my distance. But you get a mixed bag here, really. I understand if you're stuck in traffic, if you're in a car and you're stuck in traffic and you see bikers go past you, I understand why they'd be frustrated. But they should. More people should have bikes, and there'd be less congestion on the road.
See, I think that was something that I had said a few times in videos, was if they were to make car drivers ride a bike for a year, it would make a wee bit more of a sense. Yeah, fine. After a year, you can go and drive a car, but you can probably guarantee that year would be probably the worst weather in the world to start off with.
Yeah.
But by the time that year's up, they would have more sort of awareness of bikes. Because as I've started, I've tried to start the argument several times, is the polite vests. The polite vests to me make sense. The only reason it annoys other bikers is because, yes, the person looks like a police officer on a bike.
Yeah.
The only reason they hate that is because they thought it was the police in the first place.
Yeah.
So they've slowed down. There's an obvious sort of, it always seems to be the guys who come out in the summer really hate them. And you're like, well, if I'm standing at the side of the road and I've got my bright yellow helmet on with that on, you can almost guarantee I'm going to get several fingers thrown at me or dog's abuse thrown at me for it. And it's just because I have to slow down. It's not what they say it's for. I've always put up the argument, if your son or your daughter bought you that for a present and says, Daddy, this is to keep you safe, are you just going to throw that in their face and go, hey, I'm not wearing that? There's an element. There's an element to it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I used to wear a high vis jacket when I first started.
Yeah.
And I always said it wasn't to stop people from hitting me. It wasn't so people could see me whilst I was on my bike, because I've got lights and stuff, and I was hoping they could see me then. I said it was in case I fell off and ended up in a bush, it would be easier to spot me in the bush.
Yeah.
And I kind of meant it, but I'm too cool now, so I just wear a black leather jacket and a black helmet.
I think when I first started, I used to wear the Army Gore-Tex, the sand color, the Desert Storm ones. So I had those on the bottom and a black jacket on the top. And I remember one of the runs that I did, the police came over and he goes, why do you wear that? And I was like, well, it's easy. Here's me. If you're chasing me and I'm at a beach, I could lie down on the road and have my feet in the sand and you won't see me.
Yeah.
And he sort of looked at me as if to go, you have actually thought this through. And I was like, well, yeah, And the real reason was the Gore-Tex were cheap. Having friends who are serving, I literally get parcels all the time going, here. There's my second uniform,
Yeah.
I just had endless supply of it. And I think, as you say, there's a point where you sort of switch from being safety to, I like this.
Yeah.
I've found it, especially now that I started wearing the grey icon stuff, it just feels a lot easier. And a lot of the stuff isn't really designed now for practicality. It's just looks.
No. Yeah, because I enjoy riding and then going for a bit of a walk. So I have to think of something that I could be comfortable riding in for a long time, and then also comfortable walking in, because I'm not going to take two sets of clothes with me.
Yeah.
So I wear my Kevlar jeans, and I'm looking for another jacket, for a textile jacket, because it's much more comfortable than a leather jacket.
Yeah.
And I bought ankle length boots, and you would know what I mean. If you wear boots that go up just below your knees.
Yeah, I do wear boots that go up to my knees.
Well, all right. just for the sake of the audience, run through how you go for a shit.
Yeah.
With you wearing those boots.
I could sum it up in one sentence. It's a balancing act.
Yeah.
Because the trousers don't go all the way down, and
no, they don't.
It's one of those that say you have to tuck to get it all in.
I bought my ankle length boots just so I can pull my trousers down and go for a shit. So it's all things you learn when you start, isn't it?
You say you learn. I was 2 days ago. I went to work, and I had been in the boss's other business, so I took my safety shoes to the other business and brought them home. And again, late for work that morning, run out the door, grabbed my lunch, grabbed my bag, and away I went. Got to work to realise my safety shoes were still in the house, and I'm having to wear a pair of Fox motocross boots for 8 hours.
It's not good, no.
And I can tell you, they were fine. It's just where the ankle pivot is. It's just really sore. And I think EpicAdam says he has the same boots. He uses them for actual off-roading. And I got in and I took them off. And it was like, you know the way amputees say about having a phantom limb?
Yeah.
I fell asleep and I was watching something on Netflix and I fell asleep. And I woke up, I jumped. I was like, oh, I forgot to take my boots off because I could feel my leg was actually still compressed. And I didn't have them on. They were sitting beside my bed, and my brain was 100% sure these are still on your feet, idiot. Take them off. And it was just like, I keep saying I'll never learn, or I'll learn by my mistakes. I never do.
I've done the same, but I've never forgotten my work boots. So I leave them at work, but I've got to work, and I've been like, I can't be asked to change.
Yes.
So I literally keep my trousers and my boots on, just put a jacket over my top, because sometimes I only go to work for 2 hours and go home again and come back, and so I wear my gear at work sometimes.
How do you find the Kevlar jeans? Because I've never crossed that sort of remit into that area, because obviously with the mileage that I would do on a daily basis and then want to do on a long trip, to me it's more protection. You know, I'll go for the big over trousers with the big kneecaps and the big boots and stuff. How do you find the Kevlar jeans?
Yeah, they are really comfortable, but yeah, I'm a bit naughty because I don't have all the padding and stuff in there, so it doesn't really help much. But I find that when I then wear normal jeans, like, they feel so light, like normal jeans, and breezy, and they feel like they're made from really poor material. So I wear my Kevlar jeans all the time.
Yeah.
But even if I'm not riding, I'd wear them.
I think I've seen it a few times when I've been in a bike shop and I've seen the Kevlar jeans sitting, and I've seen maybe the new Spada over trousers sitting, and it scares me that the Kevlar jeans are the same price as the waterproof ones, and it's like, I'll just get those ones, because it's meant to be, say it's in the winter, it's meant to be -6 tomorrow. You know, it's like, they'll keep me warm. If I get soaked, I'll be frozen by the time I get to work. And I think that's also the reason why I've never transferred across. But it always seems to be more sport bike riders, and sort of like yourself, naked bikes. They all seem to have that. It's not even an image. It's just like they all seem to have the Kevlar jeans. And I've always wondered, is it because of the bike, or is it just for the comfort of it?
No, it's just for the comfort, because I've got some leather trousers which go with my jacket.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant because you zip it up and it's all kind of turns into a one piece.
Yeah.
But with me, I intentionally wear like long shirts or something to cover like the arse crack, because with these Kevlar jeans you do show a bit of arse crack on you if you're hunched over a little bit. But no, it's just comfort, and for me, I like the more casual kind of street style on my bike. I don't wear the fake, the Converse boots. I wear proper bike boots.
Yeah.
But I like being able to get off the bike and just walk around town quite comfortably.
Yeah.
I've walked around town once in full leathers, and I felt so awkward. And I left my helmet at the bike shop as well. I went to the bike shop and they done something for me. I said, "Can I leave my helmet here?" So I was literally just walking around in full leathers, no helmet, no gloves, and I felt like a great gimp walking around town.
You do. I've walked into a few coffee shops when my bike's been in getting serviced, and the fact that the boots creak, and then everybody turns around because they can hear this noise, and there's you just sort of 15 layers deep in body armor, and you're like, what's he doing? And then you start taking layers off to sit down. You're like, you're more exhausted trying to take a bike jacket off and sit comfortably in a pair of trousers or a pair of motorbike bottoms and like a full set of boots. It does get annoying. I've only started recently going out with the girlfriend to like the Silent Valley, which is like it's a dam basically, and there's a big nature walk right round the back of it to the second dam. And I said to her, I'd love to do that, but I'm walking nowhere in these because it will literally kill me by the time I finish it, or I'll not even finish. Because there's a bus that runs between the two, and you pay like £2 or something, and it's like, I'll be on that bus going, and I'll be on it back. And she goes, but we'll enjoy the walk, and I'm like, no, I'll not enjoy the walk. I've never and I get it asked all the time, especially with meeting new people, especially with the going to ride outs and stuff. Why are you wearing those boots? It's like, because it stops my foot getting hurt and it stops my ankle from getting hurt and my shin. He goes, but the next thing in line is your knee. And I was like, aye, but they can do knee replacements and all now. They haven't figured out ankle replacements yet. So there's always, there's always the trade-off between going way over the safety mark or having, comfort. And I would say I'm the same with long travel with the girlfriend as well. I almost prefer the passenger to be wearing the same, if not better, than me, because it's like, well, I'll hit whatever we're hitting first. As long as you can get out of the way or push yourself off, you're safe. So it's more of a peace of mind thing for me.
Yeah, so definitely. Yeah. Up, I won't move the camera, but up there I've got my wife's helmet, my helmet, and actually I'll get up and show you. So that's my wife's helmet. Can you see it? It is only a cheap helmet. It's not the best helmet in the world. And this you might recognise. Oh, you get a nice shot of my crotch here.
That must be the oldest sticker I have.
Yeah, there's some absolute legends on here, but most of them have left already.
I was going to say, even just looking at a few of those, I mean, very little of them put out. No. Not all the time, but a lot of them have changed.
Yeah, I know. There's some really good ones who have left here too. My daughter's there just now. Hello.
Hello.
Go on then. She wants to look. Go on then. There's 5,000 people watching. What do you want? She doesn't want anything. Just wanted to come. So, can you shut the door, please? This is why sometimes I only make a video every 2-3 weeks. So you got Tin Man, vlogster, who's coming back. He's made a couple of videos in the last couple of weeks, so he's coming back. Do you remember Ivan and his mighty steed?
He was remember really the name.
Yeah, from Plymouth. You got Ronan K6. I've just got an Andy Man cam sticker. He's doing really well. I've got someone called XT Donkey, whoever that is.
Useless.
Yeah. I got Lammy. I think he still does. He still makes videos, I think.
Lammy started doing different content from what I've seen.
Yeah.
I remember him saying he had a job working for like some sports car place, and he was going to start putting that content up. And then he had a new bike. I think it was an Aprilia or something like that. And he started putting like track footage up, and I was like, "Are you coming back?" And then, as good as you say that, they just disappear again. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything.
Well, Metalhead's he's stopped. Well, Phil 480, he's still going. He's never gonna leave, is he?
No, he's the cornerstone of it all.
Yeah. If he leaves, we'd all. He's like the daddy, even though he's about our age. I've met him a few times. He's a cool guy. Van 13. Yeah, got quite a few there. But I think I'm a veteran now, aren't I, as well?
I think we all are at this point. I mean, as we were saying there at the start, I mean, there's so many people who have come and gone. And I have a guy locally, Fuzzy Moto, who I went out with him once. My camera battery died 5 minutes into the ride, and he was like, "Did you record it?" I was like, "Yeah, no." And then I told him, and he was just like, "Can I put the video up and have your name in it?" I was like, "Well, you're with me, like so." And he would put up, but then again, he's the same as everybody else. Life gets straight away in the way, and he'll disappear for a couple of months, and he'll have a random video of a car meet or something like that, and then you get the ones who watch for the motorbikes but don't like cars, and it's a really weird sort of scenario, when you're trying to sort of grow a channel, like, as you know yourself, when you're trying to grow a channel, what you did at the start isn't what you did, say, in your last video. It's really wide spectrum of sort of stuff that you include.
Yeah, it's frustrating as well, because the main reason I make my videos is because I enjoy editing them and I enjoy filming them. And I do enjoy seeing my channel grow, but I know what videos would do well.
Yeah.
And I don't particularly enjoy making those videos, and I don't want to repeat those videos all the time. Like, what videos do well too.
What videos do well for you?
Like reviews. Anytime I just do a review something, it'll do well. I'm guaranteed it'll do well. And I can't. How many times can I review my bike? I've actually done it twice. But I've changed the title and I've said slightly different things in the second one. And in my first review, probably about 10 months-ish ago, that's up to about 15,000 views. Good for me. And then my second review, which I made about a month ago, is over 1,000 views. My helmet review's over 1,000 views. But if I go out and make a video that's entertaining, and I enjoy, it'll get 200 views.
There is a dictation of we like this, not that sort of thing. Like, I mean,
but it's not searchable, is it? Like me going out having fun, I can't say, "Hey, I had fun. This is a good video." That's not a searchable thing, so it doesn't work.
Millions of people putting up videos saying I had fun, and you're just fighting for the. I find that bike reviews for me seem to be where I would be sort of, oh, I'm going to watch that. I think the first one of the bikes that actually surprised me so much was the XSR 900. I think it was the 900 or the 700. I think it was the 900, and I didn't like it. I slated that bike for every inch of metal that it had, and to this date, I don't even know how old the video is, and to this date, I think it's like 49K. Now, that video just, as you're uploading videos, yourself, they just disappear. They're just off the go. And it wasn't until it was on a couple of weeks ago, and I just went, rank highest to lowest, and it came up, and I was like, you what? And the one video that actually surprised me, and every day it brings in its own like 100 views on its own, is the one where I simply show people on the tracer how to lift the front seat.
Yeah, it's mad.
It's like
even I watch that. I don't have a tracer, but it's mad. I'm still getting around 100 odd views from like my review videos daily, and I forget about them, and I get comments on them. I think, and they say they reference something I've said, and I'm like, I made that almost a year. I can't remember what I said.
I have one here at the minute. it was about the bike life in Northern Ireland being rubbish and boring and sort of going stale. And the last couple of weeks, obviously with the sort of ramp up in activity with people going out on their bike, it started getting a lot of attention. So about 2 months ago, I got a comment on it that was about this long, and I still haven't read the whole thing because I do not have the concentration to do it. So I sort of thought to myself, I'm going to do it for a video. I'm going to read it out. I'm not going to blank the guy's name out. I'm going to read it out, and I'm going to give my reaction to it, because he calls me glass half empty. You know, he's like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, kid." And I'm just like, I've just basically said in this video, I have done everything that there is to do in Northern Ireland, and you're telling me to go and do everything that I have already done. And he's like, "You come out with me and I'll take you on a Game of Thrones tour." I was like, "I've been on the Game of Thrones tour, half of it's closed." You know, I get a really weird reaction with the guys from Northern Ireland on bikes. I'm not a real name, so I can go to anywhere, and you've got that anonymity of just turning up, going for a drink, coming home. When I go to like a specific meet in England, it's you're him. And obviously, because I'm probably the only Northern Irish moto vlogger in a crowd of, say, 10 or 15, it is pretty apparent that that's who it is. And a lot of the local ones, they really don't like vlogging. They really don't like it. But they will ride with a GoPro on their head and record their Sunday ride out to, say, a seaside town or something, and they'll upload it to YouTube.
All right.
And I just go, well, what's so different from you doing that to be just giving a bit of commentary or a wee bit of news? And they're like, it's not the same. It's like, it is. It's clear.
I explain it by saying how about how like we get to know each other.
Yeah.
So when I make videos, I kind of think, oh, the XD donkey can watch this. Such can watch this, because we're all mates. So I'm making it for myself and for a select like group of people who comment on my videos quite often. That's who I'm making it for, and that kind of makes me feel, that's why I can act so daft, because I feel like I know I'm quite comfortable. Yeah, I'm quite comfortable with who my audience is. It's only when, say, some random person from work or some random person comes up to me and says, "I watched your video," and I go, "Oh God, I forgot that strangers watch my videos," and I get a bit freaked out by it. But I try to sell the idea of motovlogging to other bikers by saying, if you do it, you'll be a part of the community. We're all really nice, and we actually become real friends.
When I first started going out with the girlfriend there last year, she asked me about it, because I had told her that I'd done YouTube and stuff, and she was like, "Oh, here's me. Don't worry, I'm not one of these daily vloggers running around with a camera all the time. Here's me." Basically, what I do is I ride alone on my motorcycle. I talk to myself as if I'm talking to, say, yourself, and then I upload it so thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people can see it. And here she goes, "But who you talking to?" And I'm talking to him. I mean, it's like sending a voice message to someone and then replying. You're just using it in video basis. And a lot of the time, I try and tell people about the community, about it, and some of them just come in running, and you sort of go, don't do that, because if you come in running and try and push out your stickers at 10 subscribers and t-shirts and this, here's me, the community will push you out and almost go, no, calm down, and when you've calmed down, then you can come back. And I've seen a lot of people gather success from that. I like of Z-heads up in Scotland. I think me and Z-heads had probably, as I say, communicated in videos back and forth and in the comment sections of each other's videos, to the point where he is going to probably be the next one after you for the interviews. He's on this biker day, hopefully going to try and sort of get up far enough where he can meet me. There's that kind of arrangement that if I'm in his backyard, he'll come and meet me, or if he's over here, I'll go and meet him. And I have done it with a couple of motovloggers who now they don't do it, and they came over for the Northwest, and I took the day off, and I went up, and we rode around the north coast and went and watched the racing, and then I went home. And he's like, "Are you not staying for the Northwest?" I was like, "No, I mean, I'll watch it on TV." And he's like, "Why is that?" And here's me, because they'll have one crash, it'll be 4 hours later before the next one's run, and it'll start raining. And without fail, it actually did. And I went, I told you. Mate, I call it the 5-year curse. So the event, every 5 years, there's one day that they'll hold the racing, and it's like 30 degrees all day, prime racing. But every year after that, for 5 years, it's just rubbish.
Yeah.
So and especially when I did the Northwest, I think it was 2 years ago, they had a run for Robert Dunlop, a memorial run. And I pulled up, I was on my own, I had just came from work, and I was just sitting in the corner on my own with a burger, and 4 people come over and, you're that XT Donkey guy. Or they'll go, "Are you XT Donkey?" And I'll go, "No." And then they'll look at you and you sort of go, "Why? Does he owe you something?" just to see where they're going with it, And then they'll go, "Oh, no, I watch your videos." I was like, "All right, okay." And then, then I sort of come out of my shell at that point, because strangers walking up to you in the middle of a random bike meet, you don't expect to be noticed.
No.
But then when you be noticed, there's that sort of, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward.
What have I said in the last 6 months that's going to come and hit me?
But with me, so my YouTube name's EpicAdam, so people don't go up to me and go, "Hey, it's EpicAdam."
Yeah.
People come up to me and go, "Hey, Adam." And if I don't recognize them, then I think, have they watched my videos? But then I don't want to straight away go, "Oh, you know me from YouTube."
Yeah.
Because I might have met them in another time, so I was like, act like I know them for a while until it ends up happening. But it happened today. I was just finishing work, and I was walking through work, and someone goes, "Hey, Adam," and I've never seen him before. And what did he say? Oh yeah, then he introduced himself as a YouTube name.
Oh.
I was like, "Oh yeah, all right, yeah." And then he was like, "Yeah, I watched your videos the other day," and like, because I did kind of comment on his channel, and he commented on mine, and he just thought he'd pop in and see me. But it took me a while to click on.
Have you ever had it where, like you're saying, he's introduced himself as his YouTube name? Have you ever had someone do that, but you're not subscribed to them? And you've maybe not disliked the content, but you went, "That's not for me," and they're like, "Hey, I'm such and such. Do you know me?" And you're like, you have that awkward smile on your face.
Like, kind of, right? So the C90 Adventures. So he's got about 110, 120 odd thousand subscribers now.
He's bigger than Spicy.
Yeah. So he I met him before I started watching his channel, before I started watching his videos, and like I started hanging out with him, and we were mates and stuff. And then I started watching his videos, and I was thinking, "Geez, this guy's literally like a living legend, like in the biker world, kind of," and it's really cool. And then I started really respecting him and liking him by watching his videos and then seeing him, and it was like the reverse way around, and it was really surreal for me. And I remember going to his house one day, and he asked me what I'd been up to. I didn't see him for a few weeks, and I was like, not much. What about you?" He goes, no, not much. And then he released his video, and I don't know if you watch him, but he accidentally broke into Venezuela. Well, they're in the middle of a civil war.
Oh.
He accidentally illegally entered the country.
Aye.
And smuggled his C90 onto a boat and to smuggle it into can't remember now, some South American country. And then I went back and saw him in real life and said, "You told me you haven't been up to much, but I just watched your video." So there's him, and there's someone called Nathan Millwood, who he lived. I don't quite know yet. I have to look into him more, but
Yeah.
I think he lived in Australia and he got a little postman's motorcycle, like 90cc, and he rode back to
Everybody
the
has their
UK.
postman bikes now.
Yeah, and he's written a couple of books, and he used to be the editor of Adventure Bike magazine.
All right.
Yeah, or used to write for it anyway. So I met him, and we're chatting for probably about an hour.
Yeah.
Over a cup of coffee. And I did apologise to him. I said, "Look, sorry, I don't really know anything about you, but obviously you're kind of a big deal," because he had a warehouse full of motorcycles, and he wouldn't let me. He wouldn't let me film, but he said I can go back. He's only down the road from me.
Yeah.
He said I can go back whenever if his door's open, just pop in. But he's just been so busy.
Yeah.
Because he works and he hires bikes out now, and he takes people on tours around where I live.
All right. So he's sort of like a tour. He would be like the local guide for your neck of the woods sort of thing.
Yeah. So I was hoping he would get really busy and would want someone to help him, like me. But I don't know, he seems to be doing okay.
Get like a drone and just fly it into his warehouse unannounced and do a quick tour around and back out again.
Yeah, like he's got so many bikes. He's always getting new bikes. So what we said earlier about review videos.
Yeah.
I know I can just go into his warehouse and just find a bike.
Yeah.
I'll just quickly Google everything about it, and I can just go, oh look, make it look like I know what I'm talking about. Don't have to edit the video, put it online. I can get like tens of thousands of views.
Yeah.
Every week by just going down there looking at a new bike.
Just nip down the road. I think the one I haven't actually got to the point where someone has said who they are and I've not subscribed to them. It would, for me, it would be more per someone that I've subscribed to and I've seen them, the try hard mentality, that they're really trying to get the views and everything straight out the first video, and you're like, just put a bit of distance myself. And I actually found that he was actually following me at one point just to get me into the title of the video. And it was like,
right.
Are you serious? So obviously with having a security background, you start changing your route home, and that's what we were told when we were young before we started driving. Change your route home if suspicious things happen. And I started changing it, and then I was getting messages going, "You're avoiding me," and I'm just like, "No, you're following me," But I think, as you're saying, with the guys like the C90 and stuff who have the views or have the subs, the one person for me that I've met and it didn't really incite any sort of fangirl moment was Apple Von Crumble. And it was at one of the monkey meet, the first monkey meet, and we had all sort of gathered in Melton Mowbray, and everybody was standing, tea and coffee and chatting, and I was talking to like the Skeggy Cruiser and stuff. And this guy, this tall, posh looking guy, stood beside me. And I was just minding my own business. I'm in a strange place to start off with. It's the first time in England. I'm not going to rock the boat and say something. And I heard Crumble's voice. And I was like, no, it couldn't be. And the more and more I sort of realised there's a queue forming in front of this man. And I'm like, I nudged him. Just bit of a gutsy moment. I nudged him. Are you some sort of famous person or something? And he turned around and he looked at me and goes, yeah, you've heard of Crumble? And I was like, aye, Apple Von Crumble. Aye, I know him. And he goes, yeah, that's me. And I'm like, no, you couldn't be, because he has his day-to-day accent is so soft-spoken and it's very intelligent.
Yeah.
But in his videos, he can be very abrupt and, rude. And I was like, no. And he did like a little snippet from one of his videos. I was like, all right, fair enough. And I turned my back to him. And everybody's like, oh my God, you were talking to him. You were talking to him. I was like, and? So it was at the end of the ride, he came over and he started chatting, because obviously the crowd had died down at that point. And he says, why did you not get in line? Here's me. Because you're a person,
Yeah.
I'm not going to get in line just to say hello. You know, I'm going to say hello when you're free and not having 30. I think there's like 40 people queued up at him. And I had asked him, here's me. I just see me. So, for me, it was, I said, and for me, it's weird talking to you now because I've watched your videos. You do not sound like your videos. And he turned around and he goes, well, I think it was like, he was a university lecturer or something like that, or it was a really high up job. And it was just like, why are you doing the videos that you do? You know,
Yeah.
and at that point, I think it was just a year. That was a year before he did his road rage video, where he had the road rage with the Volkswagen Golf, and everybody was like, it was on TV and it was on Good Morning and all this here, and nobody had watched it to the end, where he was actually in bed with the car driver, pretending that pretending that they had just done it, and I'm just like. And I was laughing because my mum was watching, going, "Oh, you better watch out in case that happens." And hear me, I hope that doesn't happen. And I showed her the full video, and she's like, "Oh," and I was like, "Yes, I know that fella."
Yeah. It is quite a long video, but yeah, it's good. I remember that. It took me a while then. I was trying to think of who. Yeah, I know now. Yeah.
And again, he's just disappeared.
Yeah.
You know, he would have been one of the ones that, yes, I would know that he would disappear at some point, but not just suddenly. It would, more of a throw the hands up. This is the last video. Gone. Where you have now got like a Baron von Grumble, who runs 44 Teeth. To me, he doesn't seem he uses his platforms very smartly. So when he gets a Baron video up, it's normally him being grumpy, him doing around London and stuff. But when he transferred all his popularity to 44 Teeth, everybody just followed both of them because you sort of got two intakes from him. And I've stayed clear of 44 Teeth. I'm subscribed, but I don't watch it. I know what they're catering for, and it's like I've met him, I've seen him, and that's about as far as it went because it was like, no, I don't get the right sort of vibe. No. And I would say for me, getting the vibe from someone is more important.
So, do you watch Fortnite?
Yes.
Yeah, because that's the same type of polished, scripted
Fortnite
vibe.
For me is it dumbs things down. I'll put it.
Of course, you made a reaction video to it about the Harleys. Yeah.
And I upset the Harley dealership in Belfast for it. Fortnite for me, as I said, it dumbs things down for me. It explains silly little, geometry things about motorbikes. And I have a guy. Have you ever heard of The Workshop?
No.
He's a guy from sort of Yorkshire direction, sort of East Midlands and stuff. And I think he's an aero engineer by trade. And he will basically take like Del Boy's Garage. He'll take his video and go, well, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. Don't listen to him about that, But he'll tell you that, but he'll also explain why, and he'll go into like the tensile strength of a crank arm in an engine. And I'm like, I would never watch something like that if it was force fed to me, but I voluntarily watch it. It's the same sort of thing with Fortnite. They'll take a big subject, like the Harley thing. They'll take a big subject and they'll just cram it down into little edible sort of bites all the way through the video. And I actually, before I put that video, I went and looked up some of it had referenced some of the things in the video, and I went and looked them up, and it was like, yeah, well, there's all these pages saying this is what happens and stuff. And I think it was the other week I actually seen something in one of the online that Europe is actually now doing what Harley does to European bikes. They're actually setting their tariffs higher for Harleys. So that's why likes of the Livewire and the Pan America, they're going to be so much more expensive here. And that's, as a few people in one of the forums had said, that's a retaliation for the way back when, which I think it's they're trying to serve the death knell to each other's businesses at the minute.
Yeah.
But I mean, Fortnite for me would be just bite-sized chunks, just
Yeah.
explains to me, and then you get the odd funny video that you can like he bought the bike for like $100 or something and ripped it apart, put it back together, and took it on like a 20-kilometer off-road trip, and it was just like, why would you not, why would you not do something like that? It's an adventure. And then he has that BMW that he rides on a regular basis in his videos, and he throws that around way worse than what anybody would ever dream of doing to a BMW. So it's kind of like that there, but 44 Teeth for me is summer bikers. It just says summer bikers because it's all the latest and greatest doohickeys and stuff. They do that.
Type of people who would store their motorcycle in their living room. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Have I released that video yet?
No, you mentioned something, so I read the article.
Yeah, that video's next. And that one,
I read the article.
I'm expecting to lose people over that one, but it's things like that. It's you know yourself. You see it in articles. You can almost tell who they're written for.
Yeah. Because I ride every day. There's no way I'm going to be wheeling my motorcycle inside just to get up early and take it outside.
Yeah.
Plus, I can't physically do it anyway with the layout of my house. But
yeah, and that's actually in that video, and you're probably, you and whoever watches this to this point will know I'm actually going to do a secondary video to that, where it's going to be like a YouTube short, so just under 60 seconds of me asking my girlfriend, can I bring my motorbike and keep it in the house? Just simple, just out of the blue, not planned or anything, just to see what her reaction is, because I can guarantee that will be most people's reaction.
Yeah. Can you physically take your motorcycle into your house though? Have you got the right
in my mum's house here? No. There's 2 fairly big steps up on each door. The girlfriend's house, I could probably get it into the hallway, but if I could get it round the back of the house, I could get it into the kitchen.
No, I've got one of those, like, I've got a little shed out. I won't be able to get it.
Yeah, no.
Way. Yeah. I don't even really put a cover on my bike, to be honest, either.
Yeah. I have a plastic shelter that just sits directly over the top. 9 times out of 10, if I'm not here, it gets used for the washing. So it can dry, but any other time the bike's just thrown in under there. I mean, it still gets wet. It still gets cold. It still gets frozen in the mornings when you have to punch your seat to get it unfrozen. I think, and I do know a few people who keep their bikes in the house, and it's like, your house must smell either of a lot of petrol and a lot of oil, or your wife just drenches everything in sanitizer and deodorizer, because it could not be fun to have that.
Yeah.
So it could.
Obviously, if I had a garage, I'd store my bike in the garage, but I don't have one.
I would love the luxury of a garage too.
I used to have one. A while back, my neighbour used to restore motorcycles. That was when I was just getting into biking.
Yeah.
Shame I still don't live there now, because now I'm into biking a lot more. It'd be amazing, but I moved, so I don't have a garage anymore, unfortunately. And all my neighbours hate my bike, because, like I said, I leave to go to work about 6 in the morning, and I've got an old carved bike, so I leave it running for 5 minutes in the morning. It's funny because in the summer you just see all the windows shut run in the house when I switch my bike on.
When I had the XT and I switched it out for the louder pipes, at that time I was doing 5:30 starts, so I was leaving at 5:30 in the morning, and the first morning of having them, brings it round the side of the house. I knew I was keeping it, not starting it yet. I wanted to keep it till the last second so I could get out and get away. Started it, and literally it was light all the way down the street.
Yeah.
Roll on 3 or 4 years. There's a guy at the top of the street who actually started using my bike in the mornings as his alarm clock. He says, and he came down to me one day and he goes, "You were late for work yesterday." And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, I was late for work yesterday because of you. I was like,
Don't
okay,
rely on you, yeah.
fair enough. And with the tracer, I have sort of promised that I'm not going to do the ignorantly loud pipe on it. But the more I hear ones with pipes on it, the more I'm like, nope, I can't do it. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, yeah. My bike's not too loud, but yeah, running at 5:30, 6 in the morning. I live in a cul-de-sac as well, so and the house is all quite close together, so it does just echo around the entire place. Yeah.
There was a point where on the XT, when I was leaving in the mornings, I'm about a mile and a half to the on ramp of the motorway, and my mum on a clear morning could hear me speeding up to catch up with the motorway traffic. So that's what the average is, about 2 mile away, and she could still hear the XT rip, like trying to get itself up the full speed. And then she could hear me rev bombing people if it was coming along the road. And for me, that bike was just the epitome of obnoxious, and that's why I had it, and that's why I liked it.
Yeah, but I want one for that reason.
Well, see, I want another one. I just don't have the space to have it.
I was in a shop and I could hear this bike. I was just quite happily just shopping. I could hear this bike, and I literally was like, oh! I ran outside and had a look, and there was the XT660, and yeah, I was talking to the owner of it, and he said he had an R1 as well, and he preferred the 660.
Wasn't Mototingle by any chance?
No, I wasn't. I've met Mototingle.
Because when you said R1, there's like, he has an R1.
Oh no, yeah. No, it's just some other guy. But yeah, no, Mototingle doesn't live far from me actually. So I've met him.
He's actually started uploading again.
Yeah.
Now he was surprising. I've met Mototingle and Luke, and as I've said to you before, they're really great guys. Both of them, I think, at one point nuked their channels. They literally went, nope, delete, start over, and I'm just like,
yeah,
what?
And Mototingle does that quite regularly.
When I started following Mototingle was in this. I think it was like, it had to be in the double figures in the K. It was like 10, 13, or 30, 10, 20, or 30K, and I'm like, I blinked one day and he was down to 1,000. It was like, what happened? And he's like, I just decided to end it all. I was like,
yeah,
really?
Yeah, he just goes out. He just makes videos for a laugh.
Yeah,
and he doesn't want anything from it.
Especially him and Luke. When I met them, I mean, we did that sort of YouTuber thing where you act like a goofball for the first 5 minutes when I turned up on the XT, but I didn't actually realize they were in the van behind me, and I turned up and I was giving it, and it pulled up at the car park, and he sort of, hello, and I'm like, oh. Trying to sort of run through the Rolodex of faces, going, who is this? Who is this? And then,
so, sorry, carry on.
And we had actually stayed in the same hotel. So we had pints, we had dinner, we had breakfast, and then we went to the CCM factory, and it was like, yeah, I need to get over and visit him.
Oh yeah, I remember that now. No, when I met Mototingle, we we went to this fish and chip shop, and we were in there queuing, and another biker came in.
Yeah.
And Mototingle turned around to the other biker and said, "You know who that is?" and pointed to me. And I just started cringing. And Mototingle was like, "That's EpicAdam." And he was like, "Do you know who that is?" And the guy was just looking at him going, "No." I was like, and I went, "Just ignore him, just ignore him." And he was like, "He's world famous. He's like North Devon's third biggest motovlogger or something. You're in the presence of a legend here." And I was like, just leave it. And yeah, it was really embarrassing, but I'm sure he probably walked off and Googled EpicAdam.
I Googled the name.
Yeah.
I think
we're just having a chat. It was nice.
As you say, you have your Devon's third biggest or first biggest motovlogger.
Third. Was second.
I find it really, really funny the way that certain things stick with certain people. And obviously I have my intro that I have heard you butcher. I've heard so many people butcher this, and I'm like, if people knew how many times I had to say that to get it right. I mean, I've seen me driving up the road going, "Greetings, ladies and gentlemen," but and then having to redo
ladies,
it.
gentlemen, subscribers,
unsubscribers, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, likers,
and anyone
dislikers,
who
commenters.
generally watches my videos, something like that. Sorry. Yeah.
I mean, I have that, you have yours, and then likes of the Gorilla Biker, he has his, and he started doing his garage series, but for me, he took it to another level with having his two camera angles. So one thing he's talking to you, and then you're getting like the side view, and it's like, now when I watch a video and I see that in a video, I automatically think of him. So to me, it's really funny the way things just sort of like limp it onto everybody, in the community.
Yeah.
For me, Phil 480 would be another one. It's a very unique sort of intro.
I can do one for you now, and you'll probably know who it is. I hope you know who it is. And it's so simple. I just say, "Welcome along, guys."
Oh,
you know who that is?
That's so familiar. Put me out of my misery. Is it Phil?
God.
No.
What does Phil say? What does Phil say again?
His is like a "Hey guys," but it's his his accent.
Hello YouTube.
Yes, that's it.
Hello YouTube.
Hello YouTube, and I was like, whoa.
So welcome along, guys. Is oh god, you're gonna have to cut this out. So you're gonna have to edit this. So it looks like I've just straight away just gone. I remember. So, lamb chops. Lamb chops.
Yes.
So hang on. Welcome along, guys. It's lamb chops rights.
Oh no, I'm staying in that. The embarrassment. If they've made it this far, that's fine. That's
mine is hello, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, and everyone in between.
Yeah,
like that. Because
and when I watch your video and I hear that, I'm headbutting the wall beside me. I was like, no, it's not that. And it's so funny, especially with me being from Northern Ireland and having the accent, is a lot of the English vloggers, if they're trying to communicate to me through a video, they try the accent, and it's always the accent, and they always try the intro and the accent. And it's like, baby steps, slowly but surely. And they're like, but I can understand you. And I'm like, I've got family in England. I can speed it up and slow it down whenever I want. And they're like, oh, right. And they're like, yeah. And they're like, I've had family who've been over for a weekend, and we went to dinner, and she'd brought her new partner with her, and we were sitting at dinner, and he was like, now there was 7 of us at the table, all from Belfast, just talking, and he was just like, and she was able to keep up, and you could tell in his head that he was getting like a couple of sentences, putting them into his head, slowing them down, and going, oh yeah. But we were already 5 or 6 different subjects away, and I found it funny was because when I went over there, I'd been over for about 4 days, and he turned around and he goes, your accent slowed down. And I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, you've slowed your accent down, hear me, but you can understand me though. And he was like, yeah. I was like, I do it to help you.
Yeah.
And I know it. Go ahead.
When I was younger, I had like speech therapy.
Yeah.
So my accent isn't quite what my accent's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because I'm from near Bristol, so a lot of my parents speak. Not a lot of my parents. A lot of my family speak in a proper thick West Country accent.
Oh yes.
But I was taught how to speak by a quite posh woman, and I remember it quite well. And then I spent years trying to get rid of that posh accent and trying to make it more natural. And I think sometimes it still comes up. I think, well, especially when I'm at work, and I'm talking to my customers.
Yeah,
I sound a bit posh. And I'm like, I know, just get rid of this. So I overemphasize some words in my videos.
Yeah.
especially when I'm trying to. For people who don't watch me, sometimes I make it look like I'm trying to pretend to be cool or hard.
Yeah.
But I do that for fun.
Yeah. Nah,
I don't, because I know how ridiculous it sounds. Like quite a well-spoken English boy.
Yeah.
Trying to act all hard and fun. Like especially if some Americans watching in the ghetto somewhere.
Yeah.
Which they do. I know because I've got some subscribers from like New York and stuff.
Yeah. All
and
right.
from Brooklyn, and because I talk to them and I know that they'll find it funny if I'm there going, oh, I'm not going to do it. But
if I talk to the Americans, it's, oh, you're Irish, and it's like, I'm not going down that road, and they're like, so how close are you to Dublin? And you're like, about 130 miles. So you don't live in Ireland? And you're like, no, technically I do live on the island, just not from that part. And like, oh, you're the troublemakers then? And you're like, hold on a minute, what? And I have a friend who, when I was working with Chain Reaction Cycles before we got made redundant, he was from Barnsley, and he came in, and it was the second day, and one of the guys had got talking to him, and I hadn't even introduced myself, and he had said something to me. I'm from Barnsley, and he just went, hear me, it's a bloody good accent, isn't it? And he goes, how did you do that? And I was like, well, it's not really hard. You just sort of slow it down and speed it up wherever you are in England. And he's like, so then obviously that made him try to start speaking Northern Irish there. And we're just like, we have like 4 or 5 English guys that work with us, and listening to them trying to say, we have a place here called Newton Abbey. And we would go up to him, pull it up on Google Maps and go, Sam, say that there. And he would go, Newtown Abbey. And you're like, no, it's all one word. No, it's not. It's 3 different words. And you're like, no, it's all one word. And then he's like, he would argue. And then he says he went to a shop in his local area where he was living at the time. And he goes, the guys in work make fun of me for saying Newtown Abbey. And the guy goes, Newton Abbey. He goes, I wasn't going to start that argument with her, and hear me why. And he goes, because she was scary. And I know the girl. The girl, she's the most sort of well-spoken person. It's just the way the accent carries the words.
Yeah.
And he was just petrified to pronounce anything. So we used to run up and pull up the biggest, longest, stupid word that we could find, knowing that he would pronounce it wrong, and just sit and wait for him. And he would never do it. He would never. He learned his lesson pretty quick with us, so he did. But
yeah, I never try. We've got a guy at work. He's Northern Ireland. He's from Northern Ireland, I think. And yeah, and I do. It took me a while, but I do take the mick out of him now.
Yeah.
Because it's his fault, but he was basically like, "Give me loads of potatoes," because I'm a chef, and I was like, "Oh, all right." And then he goes, "Yeah, I'm living up to stereotypes." And then from then on, it's just, oh, potato.
See, that's the thing. We would be over here. I would say we're quick to go for the stereotype. So if we're in a crowd of, say, English people, before they even say it, we've said it. You know, we'll take ownership of it, and it's more fun for us to try and take it away from them before it's taken from us. And one of my friends, his nephew, he didn't understand the whole Northern Ireland thing. And he goes, tell him how you got here. And I went, well, I left the United Kingdom. I went through Europe, and then I got the boat back into the United Kingdom. And you'd swore blind I had told him I went to France and then came in via Portsmouth. I mean, no, I went from Belfast to Dublin to Wales. And he goes, right. And here's me. I'll make it easy for you. I had to use 2 currencies to get here. And he goes, on what were they? Here's me, the pound and the euro. And he was like, I don't get this. And he was 19 or something. He was in university studying geography.
All right.
How can you not get this?
Yeah, start there. Do you mind if we just have a 5-minute break in a minute?
Yeah, no worries.
I can do some parenting.
Probably wrapping it up in about five here anyway. So it's been on for
I'm enjoying this.
about an hour now, I think.
Yeah, we can carry on. I'm just enjoying it. I was just going to send my daughter to bed.
No worries. Well, what I
we
can
can carry on now because the mum's back. Just heard her, so that's fine.
Another 5-10 minutes anyway, because my boss has been phoning me for some reason.
All right.
I don't know why. He just tends to phone me at random times and ask me questions.
No.
But no, I've always I always found it funny with the accent and the whole traveling thing. But if I go to a bar with my friends in England, they all suddenly start ordering Guinness. And you're like, can I have Corona, please? And they're like, oh, you're not going to have a Guinness? And you're like, no, I don't like the stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the guys we had an argument before I had actually went over, and he had said, oh, Guinness over here Guinness is rotten. It's rotten. And I was like, well, I'll bring 4 tins of Guinness from 1 mile from the factory, and you buy 4 from Tesco's where you get them. I mean, I can guarantee the ones I bring are totally different to the ones that are in the tin or in your tin than that. No, it won't. It'll be the same. So I sat mine down, made sure he knew which one was, and he drank it and he goes, this isn't Guinness. I was like, it is. It's just different because they water it down to make it travel. That's why in America it's not real Guinness, it's water. And he was just like, right, I need you to start sending me this. And it's like, I can't afford to keep sending this across the water. But it's just one of those things, you know. Is there something in your area that's specific that nobody else would sort of get on a regular basis?
Well, we're known for cream teas, for scones.
Yeah.
So Devon and Cornwall's got this whole argument with what goes first, the cream or the jam. And I've even tried booking a room in a B&B thing in Cornwall.
Yeah.
And they knew that I was coming from Devon. So they're like, oh, we'll give you a proper cream tea in the morning. And I said, I'll just turn it upside down and eat it. But yeah, there's that. But to be honest, I don't care what goes on first.
I love coming over and getting the English fry up. And when the girl comes over and hands you, and it's a big impressive plate of food, and you go, excuse me, there's things missing on this. And they're like, what? And you're like, soda bread and potato bread. And they look at you as if to go, what is this alien thing that you're talking about? And it literally is something that if you put it up on Twitter, a picture of potato bread, we have 3 different names for it here. Scotland has about 3 different names for it, and England has about 3 or 4. Because I did the TikTok there, where the girl, it had potato cakes written on the packet, and I put it up, and that started. I mean, the video's still up, and I still got comments of people arguing with each other on what to call it. I was like, that's instant. I could just put that up and annoy people. It's the same with England has was it a bap or a roll or a cob?
Yeah, I was going to say bap, roll, cob. Yeah, I call it a bap.
See, to me, it's a bap or a hot dog bun.
Yeah.
Not a roll. Well, a roll, yes, but it's a hot dog bun essentially. And it's just so funny to even just throw it into a video and just see there's just sheer fallout from it. It's so funny.
Yeah, but that is a good thing about England. Every 20, 30 miles, accents change and different phrases for things. And yeah, that is that's why I like living here, probably because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've got Europe next door. We can easily just tour. Well, how many countries do you think we can go to in a day? Probably go to 5 or 6 countries in a day.
If you did if you were going to use, say, your main port would be Portsmouth or that end or Southampton. If you think it's how's it 4 or 5 hours, maybe more on the ferry. So it is. So if you take where you land as your first destination and start that as your day. I mean, you could be in Norway by, I mean, if you hauled ass for long enough, you could probably end up a good bit into Europe. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I think I actually looked into Norway. You can ride to Norway in probably just over a day.
yeah,
I think it was.
because I
Yeah.
know, is it Arctic Rider? A guy from Newcastle upon Tyne, he did it for charity, and he rode down to the bottom, right round, and up onto the Arctic Circle. And I'm just like, I would love to do that, but I do not have the
Mm.
guts. You know, for me
Yeah.
to for me to phone the insurance company and go, "Can I have my green card for my bike, please?" Yes. What
Yeah.
countries are you going to go to? Do you want me to rhyme you the list, or you just want to give me the unlocked version? Because
Yeah.
again, I have to now, by some weird rule, have to have a green card to go and cross the border. But
Mm.
we're still in the common travel area with Ireland, so you don't and you do, and it's like people are like, "Oh, you need a passport to get into Ireland from England," and I'm like, "No, I don't." And they're like, "You do," and you're like, "No, I don't. I mean, I just need my driving license." I mean, even then, they don't even check that.
Yeah.
It's just in. You just go, and a lot of the guys that I would sort of advise when they're coming on trips here, especially, don't bring your passport. You'll just destroy it. Bring your
Mm.
driving license. You're traveling within the CTA. As long as you say that, they can't stop you from traveling within. Not unless Ireland declares war on England. You know, is that going to happen? And it's as easy as just getting off the boat, going through a terminal, going, yes, I'm here for work or travel.
Yeah.
Here's a bit of paper that says I haven't got COVID.
Yeah.
No,
But
no isolating, no nothing.
so would you rather do like a European tour or like an North American tour or Australia?
I want to do a European tour. Up the end of last year, I was actually considering doing Normandy and
Mm.
going across to Germany and riding back through France and back home that way. But obviously, with the world setting itself on fire, that's a sort of dream that I want to do. I'm not into the Americas. I'm not into the Route 66. I've
Mm.
I've been to America. The roads are just big straight lines, and
Yeah.
likes of the Normandy tour. Yes, it is a bit of a historical tour as well, but if you stick to the coast, the roads are nice, sort of flowy roads, and it's easier. And the way I was going to do the trip, I would have got to France, went up to Wales, got the boat across the Ireland, and then went and done the Wild Atlantic Way up the west side of Ireland, and then back home. But that, for me, that would add 2 or 3, maybe 4 days onto the trip. That would be a
Mm.
perfect trip. But to say to go from one end of America to get halfway into it, that's 4 or 5 days, and it's like, no, and
Yeah.
you're on a laser pointed road. It's like, nope, that way.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm the same. I'd much rather tour Europe than America. Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, there's a lot of places in England I still want to go to that I've never been. If I had a map of England, there'd be a lot of big empty spaces.
Mm.
It's, to me, it's conquer my own little patch first, and then just sort of slowly expand out and stuff like that. There,
Yeah.
I did want to do one year. I wanted to hire when I was in Cyprus on holiday. I wanted to hire. They had XT660s, and I wanted to hire one just to say that I had rode in Cyprus.
Mm.
And then I thought, no, because of no bike shoes, of no trousers, of no, and you hear the horror stories about holiday riding and stuff. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not going to bother with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to visit the Lake District and the Peak District.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. And go up to Scotland. That'd be brilliant. Yeah. Plenty of places in the UK to travel before you venture outwards.
Well, that's
Definitely.
like, as I said, like, currently the advice is we have to self isolate if we go to England or Scotland, and you're like,
Yeah.
but it's okay for them to come across here and then go home, or
Yeah.
likes of the fine thing for me to go down south and get the €200 fine. That's only for north going into south. It's not the other way around. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Well, you seem to be a very confident biker. Whereas I'm fairly confident, but I'm still building it up.
Yeah.
Before I go on longer trips. I can sit on the bike and ride for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
But I still haven't been on the motorway on a motorcycle.
No.
Which if I'm going to put in if I'm going to put in big miles, I'm going to have to
do it
to sit on the motorway.
I would agree. I would be confident, but there's times within a trip where you've been riding for so long, it's just your confidence level, it just dives because you're getting tired. You get that sort of attitude, but I think it's installing into yourself a break. I'm going to stop, refuel, get something to eat, drink, sit for an hour. I tend to go to the extreme of going, right, that's a 6.5 hour road trip. I could probably push that out in one strike, get to the hotel room, and then just die on the bed for the next 24 hours. So
see, I'm not. I'm like, I would stop every hour and a half for 5 minutes just for a drink and carry on. The longest I'd done was 10 hours, and I was stopping. That was including stops. I never stopped for long in any place. But you might do this, but something that I do, if I've had a long day riding, when I get home, when I get close to home, I know that that's when I'm probably at my most vulnerable, because that's when you start relaxing and stuff. So that's when I intentionally go, right, focus now, focus. Because most people have accidents near their home, because then they just go autopilot. And if you've done hundreds of miles, if you're in a 10-mile radius of your house, you might as well, in your head, you're already there. You've already made it home.
You see, I've done it myself where I've traveled like 1,500 mile in 3 days, and the last 7 mile, I've nearly been wiped out about 12 times. And you're like, hi, and then you, as you say, your concentration level goes from being, I'm on this road, I need to drive, to there's my house, I need to get to that, and you start making mistakes yourself, but then, as you say, you lose your concentration, and it's just, that's where I sort of rein back and just sort of poodle along at that point.
Yeah,
so it is.
So this is an educational video. If anyone's made it this far, there you go. That's a lesson.
I could probably guarantee there's one person that will have watched this far, and that's May Crotch. He's probably popped up on yours, so they have religiously every video from start to finish.
Well, is that another motovlogger or just a
follower? They live in Donegal, and they just followed one time, and they've literally worked through every video I've done.
That's good.
And it's like, okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right.
So yeah.
Thank you very much, Adam, for having a chat.
No problem.
We'll certainly get you back on at some point, and we'll probably do, once I've got 2 or 3 more, we'll do a live stream with everybody. But as again, I'll give you advance notice on that, because if I don't give people advance notice, I'll forget. But what I'll probably do now is hit the stop on the record, and then that'll be the official bit.
Right. All right.
Incoming!